Welcome back to the Print 3D channel. Today is January 27th, and that means day 27 of the 3DP 365 project. On today's episode, we're going to show you how we printed out the gCreate calibration object, so stick around. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me here for day 27 of the 3DP 365 project. If you're unfamiliar with the project, check out the description below. I put a fact section down at the bottom that'll give you all the details. But on today's episode, we're going to show you how we printed out the gCreate calibration object. Once you get your printer perfectly dialed in, a lot of people will print the Benchy or a similar type test object. What I'm starting to print is the gCreate calibration object. And yeah, it's a little bit of a longer print, but I think it's worth it. There's a lot of detail that went into this model, and it's really designed to test your printer's printing capabilities. And we printed ours using MatterHackers PRO PLA in the color of purple on our gMax 1.5 XT+. So let's head over to Thingiverse and I'll show you where to download the model. Then we'll tab over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you my settings for this print. Then we'll fire up some of that time-lapse footage and I'll meet you guys back here at the workbench to talk about the print. Alright, so here we are at Thingiverse. Here is the gCreate calibration object, and I'll put the link down in the description so you can download and print this yourself. And as you can see, it's been collected a few times, and it's only been made 3 times. And that's pretty disappointing because this is an awesome calibration object. And of course, we've already printed ours, so let's tab over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you my settings for this print. Alright, so here we are in Simplify 3D, and I've dropped the model down on the print bed, and I did add a little bit of support where I thought it would be necessary. But I did not put any support in these openings because I believe my printer is perfectly dialed in to handle these overhangs and these bridges. So let me show you my process settings. Under layer height, we did a 0.2 millimeter layer height with 5 top solid layers and 3 bottom solid layers and 3 perimeters. We did run a skirt at 10 millimeters from the object at 4 outlines. For infill, we used 15%. We did generate support material. For temperature, this is MatterHackers PRO PLA, and I like to run between 205 and 210. For cooling, we have a 2-stage cooling. For the first 2 layers, the fan will be off completely, and then on the 3rd layer, it'll kick up to 70%. For speed, we ran this out at 40 millimeters per second. So let's hit OK, and let's hit Prepare to Print, and we'll show you how it's sliced. Alright, so there's our sliced finished model, and let me hit play and let you see how it prints. And as you can see, there is a lot of geometry here, and there is this centerpiece, this center sphere that would print in air if I did not have support material. So it's very important you put a little bit of support material in there. And there's some serious bridges and overhangs going on there, and we did not put any support in those areas because I believe our gCreate could handle it, and it certainly did. So let's fire up some of that time-lapse footage, and I'll meet you guys back over at the workbench and we'll talk about the print. Okay, so that was a cool little bit of time-lapse footage, and here is the gCreate calibration object, and I'll put some close-ups in at the end like I always do. But I can tell you right now that this turned out 99.9% perfect. I am really happy with this print. We did use a little bit of support material, but I think it's necessary on some of these items. But the surface finish is really clean. I can find only a few little skips in it. Other than that, there are no skips. All the little geometry printed out pretty perfectly. If I print a second one, this should join perfectly with its mate. The inside sphere printed out pretty perfectly. I did put support material on here because I know that it prints in air, and that looks pretty good underneath there. All the little pylons that are connecting to the center sphere look really good, and all the little notches and all the little parts of it look really great, and I'm really happy with this print. And the reason why I'm running this is I did have some extruder issues and there was clogging. And one thing I like to do is run Dyna-Purge 3D Clean. And I purchased this from Fargo 3D Printing, and I'll put a link down in the description so you can get some of this yourself. But I find this stuff super handy. Every time I'm changing colors on my printer, I like to run at least 3 of these through the extruder just to make sure there's no bits left over. And that really helps my print quality. So once your extruder's clean, then you can run out the gCreate calibration object. And if you get a really good print, then you know your printer's dialed in. Well, that about wraps it up for day 27 of the 3DP 365 project. I hope you found this interesting and informative. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos, and join me again tomorrow for the very next episode of the 3DP 365 project. And don't forget to download the gCreate calibration object and even think about purchasing some of the Dyna-Clean from Fargo 3D Printing.